Chapter 15. Kenny's Lifestyle Changes. In this chapter, I get more personal as I discuss recent revelations in my life. After 17 years of school, I jumped into the real world and tried to treat life like a continuation of school. Yet, my versions of school did not prepare me for things like dealing with depression or
truly being in charge of where I spent my time.
school taught and rewarded me for being good at or involved with everything. In my postgraduate life, I quickly learned the meaning of the phrase, less is more.
I tried to be Superman by grabbing every title, joining all types of organizations, and packing my days with phone calls and meetings.
This led to mental, physical, and emotional burnout. Looking back, it is funny how often my parents and romantic partners would tell me to sit down as a way of telling me to get some rest. Hearing those words felt like an insult because of how I was programmed to be impulsive and always grind, grind, grind. Quotes and sayings like, if you're not working, your competition is, or all gas, no brakes, began to devour me. As a mental analogy, all gas, no brakes makes sense when you are on a racetrack, but not when you are driving from New York to California. Rest and breaks, pun intended, are necessary when seeking to achieve big goals. During and after my professional track season, I learned the benefits of rest and how opposites are equally important. To use athletics as an example, rest and recovery are just as important as exercising. We do not always have to be doing some type of mental or physical activity related to our sport. Sometimes it is beneficial to literally do nothing. Dear Kenny, regardless of how digital the world becomes or how much it pushes you to work nonstop, I want you to log off and get into nature. We were not created to be working or in meetings all day long, especially not staring at screens with artificial light. No more grind, grind, grind. I would rather work 4 hours at 100% effort than work 8 hours at 50% effort. I know you do not want to be called lazy, but working efficiently is better than wasting time and effort. Take a walk in the park, take a nap, smile, pick up a book. Take the necessary time to recharge away from technology. Meditate, sit with your thoughts, and express gratitude. Give your brain and your body a break. Sincerely, Kenny Glenn, success coach and entrepreneur. Still running track? After accumulating so many serious injuries, I began doing hours of anatomy research to learn how the body is truly supposed to function. It became clear how in our society, we have been rewarded for imbalance. If you look at models in fitness magazines, you will notice their chests, biceps, abs, quads, glutes, and calves. But what about the opposing muscles? They are less prominent, but equally important. Something as simple as walking backward has amazing healing effects on the body because of the activation of the antagonistic muscles we use when walking forward. That is a simple yet mind-boggling fact. This activity is what makes basketball and soccer more demanding than other sports. You must constantly move your body in all directions, forward, backward, and side to side. Most humans and most track athletes only move their bodies straight ahead. Moving your body in one direction too much in comparison to other directions will create the very thing that causes all pain, injury, and disease: imbalance. For this truth, I also have Sumer Basim, the unstoppable baller, Derek Williams, Mr. Infinity, Ben Patrick, knees over toes guy, and Stephen Duvier, mind your movement, to thank for their assistance, confirmation, and passion in spreading this information to the masses. We are living in a time when preventable surgeries and injuries are at an all-time high and are continuing to increase. I respect the doctors and trainers who do the right thing by providing optimal solutions to the best of their knowledge. But I do not respect the crooked system that continues to profit by promoting unnecessary surgeries, harmful injections, and pain medications. These avoidable realities cause massive debt, depression, and destruction to the body. Dear Kenny, everything you need, you were already born with, and your body can heal itself when given the correct information. Information comes from food, environment, and life education. Today, more than ever, we have limitless information at our fingertips. Study the athletes who perform amazing feats, yet have minimal injuries. They have not only trained and strengthened the popular muscle groups, but also the opposing and less popular muscle groups, such as the back, triceps, hamstrings, hip flexors, tibialis, feet, and ankles. They understand that our chances of injury increase when we only strengthen the muscles we can see, but not the tendons and ligaments they are attached to. Sincerely, Kenny Glenn, success coach and entrepreneur.
I originally planned to continue training as a professional track athlete, but I knew multiple changes would be necessary.
I thought about moving to California or Florida to train with coaches who were better aligned with my new knowledge of the sport. But as the weeks got closer to when I planned to start training, I took the necessary time to reflect. I asked myself, if track was something I seriously wanted to continue, did I want to overly stress my mind, body, and relationships for more track success? The answer I came up with was nope. Although I did not qualify for the 2020 Olympics, I still have opportunities to compete in more Olympic Games and track and field in the future. Yet, I am choosing not to, and I have no regrets. Track gave me everything I needed from it and more. It helped pay for college, allowed me to create joy while earning accolades, and meet so many amazing people from around the world with whom I have created lifelong relationships. I realized that I was running professional track mainly for external factors like company sponsorships, fame, spotlight, and titles. These reasons outweighed internal factors such as feelings of enjoyment, achievement, and belonging. We live in a world where sometimes you must do what you have to do. However, you should eventually reach a point where you start to do what you truly love and want to do. In terms of sport, my true love is still basketball, and I plan to leverage my dual citizenship and athleticism to play for Honduras in some capacity. Even if I never play in Honduras, basketball is a sport I play for fun at gyms and tournaments in every city I visit. This is my choice, and I am happy with it, whether others agree or not. Some people may think I should just stick to track like people thought Kanye West should just stick to producing beats. Kanye continued to prove that he could rap with the best and then sold quadruple platinum rap albums. What if he had just listened to those who doubted him and did not see the gift that he and his mother saw? Everything has a time and place, and no one should place a limit on their self-belief. My self-belief has gotten to the point where people I interact with believe I am going to do whatever I say and put my mind to because I have consistently proven it. Strangers even believe me based on my passion. Sometimes I might sound crazy, but I think crazy is necessary. The Wright brothers had to be somewhat crazy and delusional to think they could create airplanes. But they successfully created airplanes after learning from their thousands of failed attempts. You may even be reading this book while riding in an airplane. The realities of entrepreneurship. The stress of searching for new clients or constantly being rejected took a toll on my mental health, my financial health, and my romantic relationship. Although I was learning at a rapid pace and helping create real change, I was stuck in the rat race of chasing money. I also was responsible for lots of financial modeling and accounting information reviews for clients. My passion for helping businesses has not faded, but the way I do it has changed. One day, I wrote a note to myself explaining how I truly hated accounting, and I entitled it My Passion. It reads, I hate accounting. I am a creative problem solver who understands the importance of finances. Although I have my master's in accounting, it is not where my passion lives or thrives. Looking back on Buku Ibrahim's quote, turn your passion into a paycheck, I am now living that lifestyle, and my younger self will be proud of me. I previously tried to box myself into accounting because it married together numbers and people, it was highly respectable, and I knew that accountants will always be needed. But I was limiting myself and my creative ability. Technically, everything deals with numbers, and unless you are in a back office in isolation, you will interact with people. As an educational consultant and public speaker, I help students and business owners strategically simplify their lives to achieve their goals. My greatest passion is helping people realize their potential and leading them in the best direction to achieve their dreams. It brings internal satisfaction when I mentor and inspire students and graduates between the ages of 12 and 24. Another aspect of entrepreneurship is the high rate of failure, mainly due to lack of funds, ineffective business models, inability to sell, or inadequate teams. I tried to go into business with a close friend, and in hindsight, it was a terrible idea. There was a great opportunity to easily earn over six figures, but I did not properly vet my friend's potential to be a business owner. They had low business acumen on top of being financially illiterate and immature. My advice here is to be exceedingly cautious about the people you choose to do business with before you lose valuable time, money, and energy. Set protocols, guidelines, and payback schedules if you loan out startup capital. Educational passion. My board term ended after 2 years instead of 4 because I took over the remaining time of the previous board member who resigned. I noticed the problems within the school system before, during, and after my time as a board member. School districts are facing problems that are not singular or unique. Instead, most school districts throughout the country are dealing with the same problems. I find it interesting how the same aspects that Dr. Jawanza Kanjufu outlined during multiple speeches about education in 1988 are still relevant today. I invite you to watch some of his videos on YouTube. During my school board tenure, I met and worked with some amazing people as we aimed to push the district forward on all fronts. However, being a board member did limit me in some capacities. I realized the best way to make a difference was to grow my original passion of pouring into students and graduates. The passion I am referring to is what I am choosing to do now, which is creating and providing real solutions and role models for students and graduates to benefit from. Contrary to popular belief, students and graduates listen to advice. It just depends on who the advice comes from. Often, there is a misalignment when teachers and administrators do not have similar backgrounds as the students or do not look like them. It is time to create, find, and implement innovative solutions and organizations like the He Is Me Institute and Educate the World. Here are some of the ideas I wrote before joining the school board. These ideas remain useful and resonate with every school in America, especially those with predominantly Black student populations. 1. Increase the number of opportunities and resources available to students before and after graduation, such as internships, educational summer camps, and after-school programs, and help students open their minds to taking advantage of them. 2. Gain strategic partnerships with mentor groups, local businesses, banks, and colleges to improve financial literacy. Include students at all grade levels and their parents. 3. Partner with HBCUs and organizations that focus on solutions to increase the number and retention of Black teachers. During my board tenure,
Civil unrest in America was widespread after the murder of George Floyd by Minneapolis police.
Floyd's murder sent the entire nation into a frenzy, especially in places with high percentages of Black Americans. I was asked to write a letter since I was a Black man and a community figure who would attract listeners. I chose not to publicly release the letter when I originally wrote it because some felt uneasy with my choice of words. I also did not want to personally deal with the potential backlash on social media because I would not have cared to reply. Here is an excerpt from that letter. It is okay for students to feel every emotion under the sun about the constant and consistent oppression that Black Americans face. However, there are multiple ways and strategies to go about creating that needed change. A call to action. Students need to see and interact with those who look like them and share similar backgrounds. Our students need positive Black role models. I challenge every person who uses their words, time, and energy to complain about our students to shift that energy to help them in their various situations. We need new partnerships with Black business owners, company executives, and role models that our students can see, communicate with, and be mentored by. Our school district needs to strengthen our connection with Black alumni as well. Even if a graduate was not the best student during their high school career, their story, their pitfalls, and their achievements after high school are still worth being shared with our students. These will show students what they can aspire to become with the necessary steps, but also what to avoid. While in high school, one of my Black assistant principals would get on the school intercom and say every day, "Be the change you want to see in the world." That is now the task and mindset that we should all have to put an end to racism and oppression by enacting change to the current unjust system and powers that be. I write this message as a Black man in America, a son, a brother, a mentor, a Mount Healthy graduate, a Mount Healthy school board member, and a Mount Healthy community member. Nutritional change. Nutrition is an extremely touchy subject because people have become addicted to certain unhealthy foods with an unwillingness to change. My advice is to do your own research and gather information from multiple sources. Then, apply what you find by trying and eliminating certain foods to find what is best for you. What sparked me to change the food I ate was acne flare-ups and a decrease in athletic capability due to soreness and slow recovery. I tried all type of acne treatments for my face and many modalities for my body, but nothing worked until I changed what I ate. A major plus is getting more natural sunlight to get sufficient levels of vitamin D, along with the positive hormones of serotonin and dopamine. To further emphasize the point of nutrition and how environment plays a role, I will use a neighborhood example. Neighborhoods with residents who have low income and low credit scores are still riddled with businesses that do not serve their best interests. As an example of how our external environment affects your health and nutritional intake, I will use a neighborhood in Cincinnati, Ohio. One day while pumping gas, I took time to scan the surrounding businesses. I have driven through this neighborhood thousands of times, but never noticed just how bad it was. There is a check cashing place next to a liquor store, a vape shop, and 5 cheap fast food restaurants. None of these things promote health, wealth, or wellness, nor are they for the betterment of our minds, bodies, or neighborhoods. There is a reason they call places like these the trap. They trap people into negativity and the perception that such a way of living is normal. As a Black American, I adopted the standard eating habits that were thrown to my ancestors during transatlantic slavery. Just because something tastes good does not mean it is good for you or that you should eat it. My grandfather died from high blood pressure and diabetes because of what he ate. It was a consistent diet of pork in all forms, heavily fried and salted foods, starchy food, and dairy products. As a child, I was ignorant of the harmful effects of these foods, and I did not have much of a say in what my parents cooked. By now choosing to reject these old eating habits and learning what I should be eating to live more healthily, I am reversing disease and aging. The decreased inflammation has helped my mind, body, and soul as they are all connected. Now, I know that when it comes to nutritional marketing, we have been hoodwinked. My nutritional intake has transitioned to more natural alkaline fruits and foods, which were taught by Alfredo Bowman, more famously known as Dr. Sebi. Something I do not believe in is coincidences. It is no coincidence that Dr. Sebi and my mother were both born in Honduras. I became aware of Dr. Sebi thanks to his descendants speaking of the healing powers of certain foods and herbs like sea moss and sarsaparilla. My knowledge base expounded even more as I read the book My Journey with Dr. Sebi, which was written by his trusted friend Abelardo Guerrero Jr. I thank my cousin Anthony Johnson for allowing me to borrow the book to absorb the information and apply it to my life. Before making my nutritional transformation, I consumed heavy amounts of animals and high-starch sources of protein because this is what I and most American athletes have been sold that we need for muscle growth, strength, and recovery. In my first semester of college, I mostly ate barbecue chicken wings, french fries, pizza, chocolate whole milk, and large bags of candy. My eating habits did not change until women from the track team advised me to eat more healthily because it would help with performance. I started to eat more fruit, salads, and baked foods for my caloric intake. I must note that I am an extremist. This means that I can cut things or habits off in an instant. I have unconsciously been on this journey since the age of 12, as this is when I decided to no longer drink soda because of the massive amounts of white sugar in it. Next, at the age of 18, I decided to give up drinking cow milk as one of my teammates explained to me how cow milk was not created for human consumption. It was overwhelming to me how simple but true her statement was, but also how delicious other kinds of milk were, whether it be almond, coconut, and hemp. Next, I decided to give up pork after learning the harmful effects of consuming it. I fully understand there was a time when my ancestors were fed pork and had to make the best of it. However, those times are over. Today, we only cling to it because of the traditional mental shackles, marketing, easy availability, and seasoning. But these traditional diets, keyword die, are failing us. The time is now to create new traditions rather than continue to follow those that continually fail us. This includes, but is not limited to, traditional food choices, the traditional school system, the traditional ways of fitness and health, and the traditional disciplinary and judicial system. You may be wondering what foods I eat since I have cut out what is heavily marketed. I eat the foods I need to survive and thrive. The foods the creator of this universe made for me to eat. Foods that line up with my ancestral traits and cause minimal to no harm to my body. These foods give me energy and electrify my mind, body, and soul. I eat food for information, not inflammation. For me, no longer consuming animals eliminated severe inflammation and the unhealthy imbalance of hormones. It also caused me to be less angry and more loving. A portion of the meals and smoothies I prepare stem from the food list that Dr. Sebi outlined. You can check it out if you want. My advice about food is to keep it simple. Be conscious about what you put into your body because you only get one. Your body is a temple and the tool to help you experience life to the fullest. Stay away from processed foods, foods with added sugar and salt, and harmful ingredients you cannot pronounce. All those chemicals will negatively affect your taste buds and body because they create unhealthy addictions. Dear Kenny, whatever you choose to eat, ask yourself, is there a healthier option? This will lead you down a rabbit hole of learning what is best for your body and what you eventually will prefer. Read food labels and eat foods with minimal ingredients. You are responsible for what goes inside of your body. Sincerely, Kenny Glenn, success coach and entrepreneur. Monk mode. Part of my lifestyle change outside of nutrition was a new external look. To represent my internal changes without telling a single person, I got my head shaved completely bald. Before this time, I had a full head of hair, but in my soul, I knew it was time for a change. A literal fresh start. Out with the old, in with the new. It was a symbol of me letting go of my previous self and embracing the new me with more confidence and freedom than ever before. Here is a fitting quote from Robin Sharma's book, The 5 a.m. Club. The life of the caterpillar must end for the glory of the butterfly to shine. The old you must die before the best you can be born. My hair began thinning in certain areas, and it made me feel insecure. The thinning was certainly due to genetics, but it was also due to the typical American diet and my high stress levels. I could have hidden it with black ice, low haircuts, or artificial chemicals like minoxidil, but these options require time, energy, and money that could be placed into other matters I deemed more important. At the end of the day, I want to be true to myself. I may fool everyone else, but not me. I continuously saw the thinning, and the time came to try something new. The factor that shined brightest, besides my extra shiny scalp, with my decision to shave my head, was fearlessness. Most men fear going bald as much as they fear public speaking or not following the crowd. Thankfully, I no longer fear these things. I embrace doing empowering tasks because I know the infinite power inside of me. The previous version of me was afraid of all of these things, but not anymore. I refuse to live as a victim or allow others' thoughts of me to control me. In the greatest movie of all time, The Matrix, when Neo woke up after taking the red pill, he did not have a single hair on his body. He was a new man who had to be rebuilt. While bald, I felt the energy and wisdom of famous people I admire, such as Kobe Bryant. Plus, all my favorite hairstyles involve some sort of baldness. I was bald for 3 months before I decided to regrow my hair into an afro. I got tired of shaving my head every day since my hair would grow back so quickly. An afro and a bald head both represent freedom for me, but an afro requires much less maintenance. Since making the nutritional change and using more natural hair products, my hair now grows thicker in the places where I had begun thinning before I shaved all of it.